In this video, I'm going to be talking about typical speech sound development, or in other words, I'm going to be going through each speech sound that SLPs work on and helping you know which sounds are usually produced at what age so that you can better know if your child is using the sounds that they should at their age or if there is reason for concern. Hi everyone, welcome to My Own SLP. I'm Rachel and I'm a licensed speech language pathologist, and I create videos with step-by-step strategies showing parents and caregivers how you can help your child increase their speech skills at home. I have a video that comes out every Tuesday and on Thursday showing you different strategies for all of the different speech sounds, as well as ideas and activities for how you can make the process fun and engaging for both you and your child. Be sure to hit subscribe so that you're sure to see each of my videos as I show you step-by-step how to work on your child's articulation skills at home, helping your child to increase the confidence as well as their ability to communicate with others. As you watch this video, I also have two other videos that go along with it where I show you how to go through and test the different speech sounds so that you can figure out which sounds your child might be struggling with. So those videos are linked in the description below. I have one showing you how to take a speech sample of your child, and there's also one that shows you how to do an articulation screener with your child. And I'll talk about those more in this video a little bit later on, but check those out. They're in the description below so that you can know how using those to figure out which sounds your child needs help with. Watching this video along with those two other videos will help you figure out three things. It will help you know if your child is on track for their speech skills. It'll help you know if you should be concerned. And if there is concern, it'll help you decipher which sounds your child needs help with. Now, throughout this video, as I'm talking about the different speech sounds, keep in mind I'm talking about the phonetic sound. So it's not necessarily the letter that is used to spell a word. So we are just focused on the sound that is being made in that word and if the child is able to say that sound. So for example, if you have the word cello and your child struggles to say cello, maybe instead of saying cello, they say cello, then you're going to look, and on this part of the word in cello, you notice it's right here on the C where the child is struggling, where the mistake is being made in production. But when we think of the letter C, oftentimes we think of a hard k sound. So in this example, you might say, oh, they messed up on the word cello and it's this part of the word where the mistake was made. But they weren't making a mistake on the k sound, it's on the ch sound, or we usually refer to that, or we think of a ch sound spelling it with ch. So as I go through the development chart of speech sounds, keep in mind that one, we're talking about the sound that is being made, not necessarily the letter that's used to spell a certain word. And also, as I go through the chart, I will show you what letter is used with speech pathologists to represent each specific sound. As I mentioned earlier, I have two other videos that will show you how to go through and test for any sounds that your child might be struggling with. So the first one shows you how to take a speech sample of your child. And this video you can find on my channel. It's the speech sample for parents. And you can also find the free form on my website at myownslp.com. And what you'll do is you will print off that form and you will have this form, and over the course of a day or two, you will write down words that your child struggles with. Then I go through in the video and I show you how to take a record of the words that your child struggles with and how to figure out if the mistakes being made are age appropriate or if they are mistakes that you should be concerned with. In this video with the speech sample, usually you're doing over the course of a day or two, just trying to take note of the mistakes that your child makes. The thing that can be tricky with this is you are just waiting for your child to make a mistake, and so they might not make a mistake during the time that you're trying to listen for it. This will help you catch errors that they happen to make during that time, but there might be other sounds that they struggle with that maybe they didn't happen to use that sound during that time frame that you were trying to take note of that. So this is an option, but then also I have another video. It's my articulation screener. You can also find the form for the articulation screener on my website. I also have it linked in the description below. And what is helpful about the articulation screener, it's also testing for any speech sounds that your child struggles with. But in my articulation screener, I have a sheet of different pictures where you go through and you're able to test your child on every single speech sound that an SLP would test your child for. So any sound that might be of concern, it's going to test your child for all of those sounds in this screener. And this usually takes between 10 to 20 minutes, depending on the age of your child and their cooperation. So this is much quicker and it is sure to test all of the speech sounds. So you can go through and you can decide if you want to do the speech sample or if you want to do the articulation screener. You can choose which one you'd like to do. Again, both of those forms are on my website. Whichever one you end up choosing, both of them are going to help you figure out which speech sounds your child might be struggling with. Then looking back at this developmental chart that we are going to go over in just a second, it will help you know if your child should have already mastered that sound or if they should already be able to say the sound, or if that's something that you don't need to be concerned about for a while. Whichever form you decide to use, whether it's the speech sample or the articulation screener, they are both going to help you figure out three things. It's going to help you figure out which sounds your child might be struggling with. It's going to help you know where to start, and it's going to help you know in what order to tackle the speech sounds if your child is struggling with more than one. So now we will jump in and we'll talk about the speech sound development chart. So as you look at this, you'll see that it's broken up into different ages. What it means by the different ages, so you'll see that you have a list of letters associated with each age. For the earliest developing sounds, you'll see that by the age of 3, these are the sounds that a child typically can produce. The other thing to take note of is each of these sounds, it isn't in conversation. So it isn't if your child is telling you a story or they're having a back and forth conversation with you that they're able to use these sounds. This is purely just saying one single word. So for example, you will notice that by the age of 3, one of the sounds they should have mastered is the P sound. So for example, it isn't your child being able to talk about the park in conversation and use that P sound. It would simply be if you pointed to the park and you said, "Hey, what is that?" And your child just in one word can say park. So if your child is now 3 years old and you point to the park or you point to a penguin and you say, "What is that?" they should be able to say park, or they should be able to just say penguin using that P sound, just saying that one word. Let's go through the sounds that are typically mastered by the time a child is 3 years old. I will go through and show you the letters that we associate with the different sounds. So for this, it would be P, B, D, M, N, H, and W. Then by the time a child is 4 years old, typically on average, they can produce the sounds T, K, G, N, F, and Y. By the time they're 5 years old, typically they can produce V, S, Z, Sh, Ch, J, and O. Just to reiterate the fact that we're talking about the sound that these make. So you'll notice here, by the time a child is 5, they can make the J sound, like the J. So it will also consist of words that maybe are spelled with a G instead. So like I'm going to the gym. Gym is spelled with a G in that instance, but it's not the G, or we usually associate that hard G with the G letter. If they have a hard time saying gym, it's not the G that they struggle with. It's the J is the sound and letter that would go together, the J. By the time a child is 6 years of age, they can produce the R, the as well as the J, and what we refer to as the voiced TH. And what I mean by voiced TH is, so there's 2 forms of TH. Voiced is if you put your hand on your throat and say words like them or mother, you'll notice there's a slight vibration from your vocal folds. You'll feel that vibration in your throat when you make the sound. As opposed to, by the time a child is 7 years old, they have typically mastered the voiceless TH. So again, if you put your hand on your throat and you say words with the TH, as in words like think or bath, you're going to notice that there is no vibration. That's the voiceless TH. So both the TH sounds, but one has vibration and the other does not. So by the time a child is 7, they can produce the voiceless sound. And just a reminder, like I mentioned earlier, these are sounds that are typically mastered at each of these ages, but only expecting the child to be able to say them in a single word, not when speaking in sentences or in conversation. They're just saying one single word on its own. I would also recommend that you check out my speech sound hierarchy video, as I will go through each of the levels to help you make more sense of what I mean when I'm saying in single words or in conversation. In my hierarchy video, I go through all the different levels in which we work on speech sounds, and that is very essential to understand those levels as you begin working on the individual speech sounds. Now, this should give you an idea of which letters are associated with the specific sounds and at what age each of these sounds are typically mastered. All right, I hope some of the strategies in that video are ones that your child specifically needs right now as you are striving to help your child increase their articulation skills. Let me know in the comments down below what was helpful, or if you have any questions. And don't forget to hit subscribe so that you can see each of those videos coming out twice a week on Tuesday and Thursday, showing you all the various strategies for working on different speech sounds, as well as making this process fun and engaging. Now, I hope that you will go share your goodness with someone today, and I will see you in the next one.